Offshoring. Meaning, the practice of moving business processes or services to another country to take advantage of cost savings. Example, the company decided to pursue offshoring to reduce labor costs and increase competitiveness. Product life cycle. Meaning, the stages a product goes through from introduction to decline, including growth, maturity, and saturation. Example, understanding the product life cycle helps companies make informed decisions about marketing and production. Quality circle. Meaning, a group of employees who meet regularly to identify, analyze, and solve work-related issues to improve overall quality. Example, the quality circle played a crucial role in identifying and addressing production inefficiencies. Recession-proof. Meaning, describing an industry or business that is less vulnerable to economic downturns. Example, the healthcare sector is often considered recession-proof as demand for medical services remains stable. Strategic fit. Meaning, the alignment between a company's capabilities and resources with its strategic goals and objectives. Example, assessing the strategic fit helps determine if a potential partnership will contribute to the company's overall strategy. Transaction cost. Meaning, the cost associated with executing a business transaction, including fees, time, and effort. Example, online transactions often have lower transaction costs compared to traditional in-person transactions. Unemployment rate. Meaning, the percentage of the labor force that is unemployed and actively seeking employment. Example, a rising unemployment rate can be an indicator of economic challenges. Variance analysis. Meaning, a method of comparing actual financial performance with budgeted or expected performance to identify variances. Example, variance analysis helps management understand deviations from the planned budget and take corrective actions. Warrant. Meaning, a financial instrument that gives the holder the right, but not the obligation, to buy or sell an underlying asset at a specified price. Example, investors may use warrants to participate in the potential future growth of a company's stock. Exchange-traded fund, ETF. Meaning, a type of investment fund that is traded on stock exchanges, representing a basket of assets such as stocks or bonds. Example, ETFs provide investors with diversified exposure to various asset classes. Yield curve. Meaning, a graphical representation of the interest rates on debt for a range of maturities. Example, an inverted yield curve is often seen as a predictor of an economic downturn. Zero-based budgeting. Meaning, a budgeting approach where each expense must be justified for each new budget period, starting from zero. Example, zero-based budgeting encourages a thorough review of expenses, promoting cost efficiency. Acquisition cost. Meaning, the total cost incurred by a company to acquire a new customer, including marketing and sales expenses. Example, calculating the acquisition cost is essential to assess the efficiency of marketing and sales campaigns. Bootstrapping. Meaning, building or funding a business using minimal external resources or capital. Example, the entrepreneur practiced bootstrapping by reinvesting profits to grow the business organically. Corporate governance. Meaning, the system of rules, practices, and processes by which a company is directed and controlled to ensure accountability and transparency. Example, strong corporate governance is crucial for maintaining investor trust and protecting shareholder interests. Debenture. Meaning, a type of long-term debt instrument issued by a company, usually with a fixed interest rate. Example, investors who purchase debentures receive periodic interest payments and the return of principal upon maturity. Economic indicator. Meaning, data or statistics that provide insights into the overall health and performance of an economy. Example, the unemployment rate and GDP growth are important economic indicators used by policymakers and investors. Freemium. Meaning, a business model where basic services are provided for free, but premium features or services require payment. Example, many software companies offer freemium versions with limited features, enticing users to upgrade for additional benefits. Greenwashing. Meaning, conveying a false impression or misleading information about the environmental practices of a company to appear more environmentally friendly. Example, the company faced criticism for greenwashing after exaggerating its commitment to sustainability in marketing campaigns. Hedging. Meaning, using financial instruments or strategies to reduce or offset the risk of adverse price movements in investments. Example, companies often use hedging to protect against fluctuations in currency exchange rates. Initial public offering, IPO. Meaning, the first sale of a company's stock to the public, marking the transition from private to public ownership. Example, the tech startup's successful IPO raised significant capital for further expansion. Joint and several liability. Meaning, legal responsibility where each party is individually responsible for the entire obligation or debt. Example, in a joint and several liability agreement, all partners are liable for the full amount of a business debt. Knowledge management. Meaning, the process of capturing, organizing, and utilizing an organization's collective knowledge to enhance efficiency and innovation. Example, knowledge management systems facilitate the sharing of expertise and best practices within a company. Leveraged buyout, LBO. Meaning, the acquisition of a company using a significant amount of borrowed funds, often with the company's assets serving as collateral. Example, private equity firms often use leveraged buyouts to acquire and restructure companies. Market capitalization, market cap. Meaning, the total value of a company's outstanding shares of stock, calculated by multiplying the share price by the number of shares. Example, a company with a market capitalization of $1 billion is considered a mid-cap company. Net working capital. Meaning, the difference between a company's current assets and current liabilities, reflecting its short-term liquidity. Example, monitoring net working capital helps ensure a company has sufficient resources to cover its short-term obligations. Outsourcing. Meaning, the practice of contracting out certain business functions or processes to external third-party providers. Example, the company outsourced its customer support to a specialized service provider to enhance efficiency. Piggybacking. Meaning, partnering or collaborating with another entity to leverage its existing resources or distribution channels. Example, the small startup achieved rapid growth through piggybacking on the established network of a larger company. Qualified dividend. Meaning, a dividend that qualifies for a lower tax rate, typically taxed at the capital gains rate. Example, investors often favor qualified dividends due to their more favorable tax treatment. Redundancy. Meaning, having excessive or unnecessary elements, often used in the context of business operations or systems. Example, the company streamlined its processes to eliminate redundancy and improve efficiency. SME, small and medium-sized enterprise. Meaning, a business that falls within a defined range of employees, revenue, or assets, varying by country. Example, SMEs play a crucial role in the economy, contributing to job creation and innovation. Turnaround strategy. Meaning, a plan or set of actions aimed at reviving a struggling or failing business and restoring its financial health. Example, the new CEO implemented a turnaround strategy that involved cost-cutting and strategic repositioning. Utility patent. Meaning, a type of patent that protects new and useful inventions, processes, machines, or compositions of matter. Example, the inventor filed a utility patent to protect the unique features of the innovative product. Value proposition. Meaning, the unique set of benefits or values that a product or service offers to customers, differentiating it from competitors. Example, the company's value proposition focuses on delivering high-quality products with eco-friendly features. Whistleblower. Meaning, an individual who exposes unethical or illegal activities within an organization. Example, the whistleblower provided crucial information that led to an investigation into corporate fraud. Xerox effect. Meaning, the phenomenon where a brand name becomes synonymous with the product or service it represents. Example, Xerox is often used as a verb, illustrating the Xerox effect in which the brand name is associated with photocopying. Year-over-year, YOY. Meaning, a comparison of a financial metric or performance data for 1 year with the same period in the previous year. Example, the company's revenue increased by 10% year-over-year, demonstrating consistent growth. Zero-sum game. Meaning, a situation where one participant's gain or loss is exactly balanced by the losses or gains of other participants. Example, in negotiations, some view it as a zero-sum game where one party's success is perceived as the other party's failure. Alpha test. Meaning, the initial phase of testing a software or product in a controlled environment before it is released for broader testing. Example, developers conducted alpha tests to identify and address any major issues before the software's public release. Benchmarking. Meaning, comparing the performance, processes, or practices of a company against those of industry leaders or competitors to identify areas for improvement. Example, the company engaged in benchmarking to assess its customer service against industry standards. Collateralized debt obligation, CDO. Meaning, a complex financial product that pools together various debt instruments and sells slices of the package to investors. Example, the financial crisis of 2008 was partially attributed to the collapse of CDOs backed by subprime mortgages. Dynamic pricing. Meaning, a pricing strategy where the cost of a product or service is adjusted in real time based on market demand, competitor pricing, or other factors. Example, airlines often use dynamic pricing, with ticket prices changing based on factors like demand and time until departure. Elasticity. Meaning, a measure of how sensitive the quantity demanded or supplied is to changes in price or income. Example, price elasticity of demand measures how much the quantity demanded changes in response to a change in price. Fintech. Meaning, the integration of technology into financial services to enhance efficiency, accessibility, and innovation. Example, fintech companies offer digital solutions such as mobile payment apps and online investment platforms. Golden handshake. Meaning, a financial incentive, often a lump sum or extended benefits, offered to an employee as part of a voluntary retirement or departure agreement. Example, the executive received a golden handshake as part of the company's downsizing strategy. Horizontal equity. Meaning, the principle of fairness in taxation, ensuring that individuals with similar income levels are taxed at the same rate. Example, implementing horizontal equity in the tax system promotes equal treatment for taxpayers with similar financial circumstances. Inorganic growth. Meaning, expansion of a company through acquisitions, mergers, or partnerships rather than through internal growth. Example, the company pursued inorganic growth by acquiring a competitor to enter new markets. J-curve effect. Meaning, in international trade, the phenomenon where a country's trade balance initially worsens before improving after adopting a new trade policy. Example, the J-curve effect is often observed when a country devalues its currency to boost exports. Key performance indicator, KPI. Meaning, quantifiable metrics used to evaluate the success or performance of a business, department, or individual against strategic objectives. Example, customer satisfaction, revenue growth, and employee productivity are common KPIs used by businesses. Liquidity trap. Meaning, a situation in which interest rates are low, and savings are high, but investment and economic activity remain stagnant. Example: central banks face challenges when trying to stimulate the economy in a liquidity trap. Mergers and acquisitions, M&A. Meaning, the process of combining or purchasing companies to achieve synergies, expand market share, or gain strategic advantages. Example: the M&A deal between the two tech giants was aimed at strengthening their position in the market. Net Promoter Score, NPS. Meaning, a metric that measures customer satisfaction and loyalty by asking customers how likely they are to recommend a product or service to others. Example: the company regularly surveys its customers to calculate and improve its Net Promoter Score. Operational risk. Meaning, the risk of loss resulting from inadequate or failed internal processes, systems, people, or external events. Example: operational risk management involves identifying potential failures in processes and implementing safeguards to prevent losses. Private placement. Meaning, the sale of securities directly to a small number of private investors, rather than through a public offering. Example: the company opted for a private placement to raise capital from a select group of investors. Quantitative analysis. Meaning, the use of mathematical and statistical methods to analyze data and make informed business decisions. Example: quantitative analysis revealed patterns in consumer behavior, informing marketing strategies. Risk appetite. Meaning, the level of risk that an organization is willing to accept or tolerate in pursuit of its objectives. Example: companies with a conservative risk appetite may avoid high-risk investments to maintain stability. Sunk cost. Meaning, a cost that has already been incurred and cannot be recovered, regardless of future decisions. Example: the decision to continue a failing project based on sunk costs can lead to additional losses. Tangible assets. Meaning, assets with a physical presence, such as buildings, machinery, or inventory that can be touched or measured. Example: the company's balance sheet includes both tangible and intangible assets. Unicorn. Meaning, a privately held startup company valued at over $1 billion. Example: the tech industry has seen a rise in unicorn companies with innovative business models. Value chain. Meaning, the series of activities that a company performs to deliver a product or service to customers, from raw materials to distribution. Example: analyzing the value chain helps identify areas for cost reduction and process improvement. White knight. Meaning, a friendly and benevolent individual or company that provides financial assistance or intervenes to rescue another from a difficult situation. Example: the White Knight investor helped the struggling company avoid bankruptcy by injecting capital. Efficiency. Meaning, the level of efficiency achieved by a firm in producing output relative to its maximum potential efficiency. Example: managers focus on improving efficiency to reduce waste and optimize resource utilization. Yield curve. Meaning, a graphical representation of the interest rates on debt for a range of maturities. Example: an inverted yield curve is often seen as a predictor of an economic downturn. Zero coupon bond. Meaning, a bond that pays no interest but is issued at a discount to its face value, with the return realized at maturity. Example: investors may purchase zero-coupon bonds for long-term investment with the expectation of capital appreciation. Angel investor. Meaning, an individual who provides financial support to startups or small businesses in exchange for equity ownership. Example: the angel investor played a crucial role in funding the early stages of the innovative tech startup. Blue chip stocks. Meaning, shares of large, well-established companies with a history of stable performance and reliability. Example: blue chip stocks are often considered a safe and conservative investment choice. Crowdfunding. Meaning, a method of raising capital by collecting small amounts of money from a large number of people, typically through online platforms. Example, the startup successfully funded its product development through a crowdfunding campaign. Diversification. Meaning, the strategy of spreading investments across different asset classes to reduce risk. Example, diversification helps investors minimize the impact of poor performance in a specific market or industry. Economic moat. Meaning, a sustainable competitive advantage that protects a company from competition and allows it to maintain long-term profitability. Example, strong brand recognition can contribute to a company's economic moat by creating customer loyalty. Financial leverage. Meaning, the use of borrowed funds to increase the potential return on investment. Example, a company with high financial leverage may experience amplified returns during periods of growth but increased risk during economic downturns. Goodwill. Meaning, an intangible asset representing the excess of the purchase price over the fair value of identifiable assets acquired in a business combination. Example, the acquisition contributed to the company's goodwill as it expanded its market share and customer base. Horizontal integration. Meaning, the merger or acquisition of companies operating in the same industry or at the same stage of the production process. Example, horizontal integration allows companies to consolidate resources and increase market share. Entrepreneurship. Meaning, a system that encourages employees within a company to take on entrepreneurial roles, fostering innovation and creativity. Example, the company's culture of entrepreneurship led to the development of several successful internal projects. Joint venture. Meaning, a business arrangement in which two or more parties collaborate to undertake a specific project, sharing risks and rewards. Example, the joint venture between the two companies resulted in the successful launch of a new product. Knowledge worker. Meaning, an employee whose job involves creating, analyzing, and applying knowledge, often in the fields of information technology, research, or innovation. Example, in today's digital age, knowledge workers play a crucial role in driving organizational success. Laffer curve. Meaning, a theoretical curve illustrating the relationship between tax rates and tax revenue, suggesting that there is an optimal tax rate for maximizing revenue. Example, policymakers consider the Laffer curve when evaluating the potential impact of tax rate changes. Margin call. Meaning, a demand by a broker or lender for additional funds to cover potential losses in a margin account. Example, the investor received a margin call when the value of the securities in their account fell below a certain threshold. Net present value, NPV. Meaning, a financial metric that calculates the present value of a series of cash flows, taking into account the time value of money. Example, NPV is used to assess the profitability of an investment by comparing the present value of cash inflows and outflows. Off-balance sheet. Meaning, items or activities that do not appear on a company's balance sheet but can still have an impact on its financial health. Example, operating leases were traditionally considered off-balance sheet items until accounting standards changed. Pareto principle. Meaning, also known as the 80-20 rule, it states that approximately 80% of effects come from 20% of causes. Example, in business, the Pareto principle might be applied to identify the most critical customers or products contributing to the majority of sales. Quantitative easing. Meaning, a monetary policy tool used by central banks to increase the money supply by purchasing financial assets, typically government bonds. Example, the central bank implemented quantitative easing to stimulate economic activity during a period of low growth. Return on investment, ROI. Meaning, a financial metric that measures the profitability of an investment by comparing the return generated to the initial cost. Example, the ROI for the marketing campaign was calculated by dividing the gained profits by the campaign's cost. Sustainable development. Meaning, development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. Example, businesses are increasingly adopting sustainable development practices to address environmental and social concerns. Total quality management, TQM. Meaning, an approach to improving efficiency and quality by involving all employees in the continuous improvement process. Example, TQM emphasizes customer satisfaction and ongoing efforts to enhance product or service quality. Underwriting. Meaning, the process by which financial institutions assess and assume the risk of insuring or issuing securities. Example, the insurance company performs underwriting to evaluate the risk associated with insuring a particular individual or asset. Vesting. Meaning, the process by which an employee earns the right to receive benefits or ownership of company-provided assets over time. Example, stock options may vest over a specific period, incentivizing employees to stay with the company. Working capital. Meaning, the difference between a company's current assets and current liabilities, representing its short-term operational liquidity. Example, maintaining a healthy working capital ensures that a company can cover its short-term obligations. XIRR, Extended Internal Rate of Return. Meaning, a financial metric used to calculate the internal rate of return for investments with irregular cash flows and varying time periods. Example, XIRR is often used in financial analysis to assess the return on complex investment portfolios. Yield management. Meaning, a pricing strategy used to maximize revenue by adjusting prices based on demand and capacity. Example, airlines often use yield management to optimize ticket prices based on factors like seat availability and booking patterns. Zero-based budgeting. Meaning, a budgeting approach where each expense must be justified for each new budget period, starting from zero. Example, zero-based budgeting requires departments to justify their entire budget rather than basing it on previous allocations. Amortization. Meaning, the process of spreading the cost of an intangible asset, such as a patent or goodwill, over its useful life. Example, amortization expenses are recorded on the income statement to reflect the gradual reduction in the asset's value. Break-even point. Meaning, the level of sales at which a company's total revenues equal its total expenses, resulting in neither profit nor loss. Example, calculating the break-even point helps businesses determine the minimum sales needed to cover costs. Corporate social responsibility, CSR. Meaning, a business approach that incorporates social and environmental considerations into its operations and interactions with stakeholders. Example, the company's CSR initiatives include environmental sustainability practices and community engagement programs. Dividend yield. Meaning, a financial ratio that shows the annual dividend income as a percentage of the investment's market price. Example, the dividend yield of the stock was 3%, making it an attractive investment for income-focused investors. E-commerce. Meaning, the buying and selling of goods and services over the internet. Example, e-commerce platforms have become increasingly popular for businesses to reach a global customer base. Fiscal policy. Meaning, the use of government spending and taxation to influence the economy. Example, during a recession, governments might implement expansionary fiscal policies to stimulate economic activity. Good faith estimate. Meaning, an estimate provided by a lender to a borrower outlining the approximate costs of obtaining a mortgage. Example, borrowers receive a good faith estimate before finalizing the terms of a mortgage loan. Hawala. Meaning, an informal system of transferring money without physically moving it, often used in international transactions. Example, Hawala networks facilitate quick and discreet money transfers across borders. Incoterms, international commercial terms. Meaning, standardized terms used in international trade to define the responsibilities of buyers and sellers. Example, the use of Incoterms helps ensure clarity and consistency in global trade transactions. Job enrichment. Meaning, redesigning a job to increase employee satisfaction by adding more meaningful tasks and responsibilities. Example, job enrichment may involve giving employees more autonomy and opportunities for skill development. Keiretsu. Meaning, a form of business organization in Japan where a group of companies shares financial interests and often holds cross-shareholdings. Example, keiretsu relationships can create strong business alliances and collaborations. Liquidity risk. Meaning, the risk that an asset cannot be sold or converted into cash quickly without a significant loss in value. Example, investors consider liquidity risk when assessing the ease of buying or selling a particular investment. Monopoly. Meaning, a market structure in which a single seller dominates the entire market, often leading to limited competition. Example, the government may regulate monopolies to prevent unfair business practices and protect consumers. Negotiation. Meaning, the process of reaching an agreement between two or more parties through discussion and compromise. Example, effective negotiation skills are crucial in business, helping parties find mutually beneficial solutions. Operational excellence. Meaning, a business strategy focused on continuous improvement and efficiency in all aspects of operations. Example, companies pursue operational excellence to deliver high-quality products and services at lower costs. Price discrimination. Meaning, the practice of charging different prices for the same product or service based on factors such as location, demographics, or purchase history. Example, airlines often use price discrimination by offering different ticket prices for the same flight. Quality function deployment, QFD. Meaning, a method used in product development to translate customer needs into specific technical requirements. Example, QFD ensures that the design and development process aligns with customer expectations. Return on assets, ROA. Meaning, a financial ratio that measures a company's ability to generate profit from its assets. Example, a higher ROA indicates that a company is effectively utilizing its assets to generate earnings. Strategic alliances. Meaning, collaborative partnerships between two or more organizations to achieve mutual goals and gain a competitive advantage. Example, strategic alliances can involve joint ventures, shared resources, or co-marketing efforts. Target market. Meaning, the specific group of individuals or businesses that a company aims to reach with its products or services. Example, the advertising campaign was tailored to appeal to the target market of young professionals. Underemployment. Meaning, a situation in which individuals are employed in jobs that do not fully utilize their skills, qualifications, or availability. Example, many graduates face underemployment, working in positions that do not require their level of education. Venture capital. Meaning, funding provided by investors to startups and small businesses with high growth potential in exchange for equity. Example, the venture capital firm invested in the tech startup to support its expansion and development. Wholesaler. Meaning, a business that purchases goods in large quantities from manufacturers and sells them in smaller quantities to retailers. Example, wholesalers play a key role in the distribution chain, supplying products to various retail outlets. Asset. The company's assets include real estate, equipment, and intellectual property. Balance sheet. The balance sheet provides a snapshot of a company's financial position at a specific point in time. Benchmarking. We are benchmarking our sales performance against industry standards. Brand equity. The strong brand equity contributed to the product's success in the market. Cash flow. Managing cash flow is crucial for the day-to-day operations of the business. Collaboration. effective collaboration among team members enhances productivity. Competitive advantage. Innovation can provide a competitive advantage in the market. Consumer behavior. Understanding consumer behavior helps in developing targeted marketing strategies. Corporate social responsibility. CSR. The company's CSR initiatives focus on community development and environmental sustainability. Cost-benefit analysis. Conducting a cost-benefit analysis is essential before implementing a new project. Credit terms. Negotiating favorable credit terms with suppliers is part of strategic procurement. Customer relationship management. CRM systems help businesses manage and analyze customer interactions. Data analytics. Data analytics can uncover valuable insights for informed decision-making. Diversification. Diversifying the product line can mitigate risks associated with market fluctuations. E-commerce. The company expanded its reach through an e-commerce platform. Employee engagement. Employee engagement programs contribute to a positive workplace culture. Entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship involves taking calculated risks to start and grow a business. Financial forecast. A detailed financial forecast guides budgeting and financial planning. Globalization. Globalization has opened new markets and increased competition. Hedging. Hedging against currency fluctuations is essential for international businesses. Innovation. Continuous innovation is crucial for staying ahead in today's dynamic market. Intellectual property. Protecting intellectual property is vital for the long-term success of a company. Key performance indicators. KPIs. Monitoring KPIs helps track progress toward business goals. Leadership. Effective leadership is key to inspiring and guiding a team. Leverage. The company used financial leverage to fund its expansion. Market research. Conducting thorough market research is essential before entering a new market. Merger and acquisition. M&A. The M&A deal resulted in a stronger market presence for the combined entity. Mission statement. The mission statement articulates the company's core purpose and values. Outsourcing. Outsourcing non-core functions can lead to cost savings and efficiency. Overhead. Managing overhead costs is crucial for maintaining profitability. Pricing strategy. Developing a competitive pricing strategy is essential for market success. Quality control. Implementing stringent quality control measures ensures product excellence. Return on investment. ROI. Calculating ROI helps assess the profitability of an investment. Risk management. A robust risk management plan minimizes potential business disruptions. Sustainability. Adopting sustainable practices aligns with environmental and social responsibility. SWOT analysis. Conducting a SWOT analysis identifies strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Target market. Understanding the target market is essential for effective marketing campaigns. Trademark. Registering a trademark protects the company's brand identity. Upselling. Implementing upselling strategies can increase average transaction value. Value proposition. A clear value proposition communicates the unique benefits of a product or service. Wholesale. The company sells products both at retail and wholesale levels. Zero-sum game. Negotiations should aim for a win-win outcome, avoiding a zero-sum game mentality.